Good morning. Hello. I had some difficulty with StreamYard, so it took me a minute to get in. How are you doing this morning? It is Friday morning here in Mougins. It is a wet, rainy day here. So I'm very glad to be inside and in out of the weather. It's not cold. It's just really rainy. So it's really rainy season here in France right now. So welcome to my live training here on Friday morning. I can't believe we're well into December now. It's actually the 9th of December this morning, and we're almost at the end of the year. Can you believe it? We have another year down in our businesses. And this morning, I want to talk about the last year. I want to talk about the learnings that I've had in the last year. So I've entitled this morning's session, Another Year of Business, Another Year of Learnings. And it didn't take me very long to put these. I have 7 points here, but I'm sure I'll come up with more. 7 points together from the things that I have learned during the year. Some of many of these things actually I have learned other years, but this year kind of cemented them because this will be my fourth year in business here in France. So I was in business for a long time in Singapore, but this is my fourth year in business here in France. And really, I'm online about 3.5 years, to just give you some perspective and where I'm coming from. If you're joining me here this morning, say good morning. Oh, I see some good mornings. Let me just see that I'm live in the group. So I'm going to go in here to the group and just make sure I am here. Excellent if you're joining me live. How was your year to date? Was it a good year? Was it a hard year? What kind of year have you had to date? Pop a little comment in there. Hey, Diane, brilliant to see you. I know that this session is really early for a lot of people, especially the people in the America. Because obviously it works for me. I like to get it done early. I like to have kind of fairly easy Friday afternoons. Hello, MMA, great to see you, lovely to see you. So give me a little emoji. Actually, this is a good one. Even on replay, give me an emoji and let me know what your year has been like. Has it been kind of a light bulb year? Has it been a rainbow year with lots of different things thrown at you? Have you made a big pivot maybe in your business this year? Pop a little emoji into the comments and let me know. I think it is very, very important to review the year that's gone by as you prepare for the year coming, because sometimes we forget how much progress we've made. Or when we look at the whole year, sometimes when we're in the middle of it, it looks like, oh my God, I'm in the exact same place as I was last year. But for most people, you know, there has been big shifts, there has been big achievements that maybe you've forgotten about and that you haven't celebrated. So when I get to the end of the year, as I look toward the next coming year and do goals, I definitely like to look back and see what worked, what didn't work, what were my learnings, etc. So today's session is about what I learned really. And then going forward next week, I'm going to be looking at goals on the Christmas party. So MMA has put a light bulb and a thumbs up. That's really, really positive. So even if you're watching this on replay, do pop a little emoji in there. What is your overall feel for the year gone by? So I have 7 points in here this morning, and I'd love your feedback as I go through them. These were just randomly off the top of my head as I look back at the year. What were the things that I want to take forward? What were the learnings that I want to take forward into the new year? So the first thing that I've written down here is there will always be something that we don't have control over. Now, we came into 2022 thinking, okay, we're coming out of COVID, business is going to be able to get back to normal, everything is going to be the way it was before, and life is going to be good. But of course, it's rarely like that, right? It absolutely wasn't like that. We were no sooner out of COVID. Some people actually, I heard, are still not out of COVID. In China, they're still not out of COVID. But for a lot of us here in the Western world, we're out of COVID now. But then we went straight into war and recession. So I think my learning from that is there will always be something that we don't have control over. There'll always be things happening externally in the world, and we can't put our dreams, we can't put our business, we can't put our ambitions on hold based on those external factors. You know, when the war hit, a lot of small business owners started to feel like really icky about promoting their businesses. But the reality is, as small business owners, we can't stay in business unless we're promoting our business. So there will always be world events that we don't have control over. So kind of you know, settling down into the role of being an entrepreneur, being steady, putting yourself out there, no matter what else is happening in the world. At the same time, being sensitive. You know, the Queen died this year. Of course, there was a period of mourning. Of course, there was certain, you know, ways that you wanted to behave in your business. But there will be many events like this over the course of us running our business. So it's about knowing that there will always, forever and forevermore, be stuff happening outside of our control, and it's on us as small business owners to, you know, keep going in our business, keep promoting our business, keep the leads coming in, and keep to a schedule. So that's the first one. There will always be something that we don't have control over, but what we do have control over is how we show up in our business, how we take care of our community, for instance. So that's my first learning. Number two is to rely on the pillars of stability. When there is a lot of chaos around us, when there is a lot of instability around us, it is very important to come back to our own pillars of stability. And I find that's really important to me. So I have a daily routine that I follow. And even when there is mad chaos around me, I try to stick as much as possible to my routine, because it gives me a sense of stability and it gives me a sense of security. And I have found, despite the chaos of this year, that I've stayed reasonably even and stable and able to turn off because of that morning routine, because of the routines that I have in my life. You can also look at, you know, the stability that different communities provide you. So, for instance, you're part of this community here, you know, making it a weekly thing that, you know, I check in with my community, I see what's happening here, I see how they're dealing with things. So I tend to go back to my communities when I'm feeling the world is a little bit chaotic. And when the world is chaotic, I try to provide stability within this community for you. So my question to you this morning is, are you providing this same stability for your community? So just like I'm providing, you know, a weekly place for you to come, containers, events for you to come along to, are you also providing that for your community? Because especially when there's chaos happening in the world, your community need that more than ever. They need direction, they need a place to go to where they feel safe. So I have been very steady in maintaining this community over the course of the year. I'm very thankful that I was able to do that. And I feel that that is one of the reasons also why I felt even and stable, is because I was taking the lead around providing that stability to my own community as well. It gave me a reason to turn up. It gave me a purpose. And having a purpose every day, I think, is a great way to have stability in your life as well. Okay, I see a couple of comments in here. Diane has said, I've learned to keep going through the ups and downs in my business this year. And that's amazing. And that is business. Business is never, ever going to be a smooth road. It absolutely will not be a smooth road. It never was, and it never will be. So having ways to come back to stability, to continuity, to safety in your business and in your communities is an amazing way of being able to turn up consistently. Okay, so that was number 2. Number 3, a lot of people have resistance to number 3, and even I understand this resistance. I've had this resistance as well, is to set goals and plan, even if you haven't reached your goals in the past. Now, loads of people, they don't want to set goals because they feel like, well, I set goals in the past and I was disappointed and I didn't reach them, and I feel all this pressure, and there's all this mental anguish around goals. My belief is you still should set goals, because goals are like setting a target. I don't mean be so attached to them that they cause massive pain in your life, but you should have a financial goal. You should have a business goal. You should have, personal life goals around your family and downtime and all the different things in your life. I'll talk a little bit more about this next week in the, what am I calling, my charity Christmas event. I'm going to talk about goals on that, but I think it's really important to set goals. I set goals all the time. Sometimes I reach those goals in the time frame that I set. Sometimes I don't. However, when I look back 5 years, I realize, oh my God, I've reached all my goals that I set back then. So I mightn't necessarily reach them exactly how I thought I'd reach them, or maybe I didn't reach them in the exact time that I thought I'd reach them in, but I have reached them. And if I hadn't set those goals, I definitely wouldn't have those goals now. For instance, even just this community, I remember maybe 2 years and a bit back, putting in my goals, I want to set up a community for my people, for my tribe, a safe place where they can come, where they can learn, where they can ask questions, where they can feel a sense of community. I had to set that goal. And my first goal after that then, or my first numbers goal around that, was to have 500 members. And now I have over 1,000 members. And that's just amazing. This community where you could come to learn, to talk to other personal stylists, to see what's possible. I also try to show you what's possible as a personal stylist in this group as well. And on that note, I encourage you to participate. We always get out as much as we put in. So participate. So thank you, a real thank you to all the people who turn up every week, who comment, even the people who put replay, even the people who ask questions. It all makes a difference. It makes a difference to me, and it makes a difference to other people in the community. So thank you for participating in this group and making it into what it is today. So that was number 3, set goals and plan, no matter what, even if you failed in the past. Number 4 is pivot when something is not working for you. Now, I've spoken about pivoting before because obviously many of us had to pivot around COVID. Many of us had to pivot our business. We had to get online, and that doesn't mean that we'll never have to pivot again. Of course, we'll have to pivot again. I have pivoted several times during the year, a little bit, not necessarily pivot and completely start a new business or anything like that, but I have definitely taken a few pivots during the year. Number one pivot that I took was I closed down my membership. I closed down my membership because it wasn't working for me. Didn't work with my personality, didn't work with my family life. I just felt that it became a path of resistance for me, and it wasn't working with how I wanted to feel. It wasn't working with how I wanted to be. It wasn't working with how I wanted my business to be. So I pivoted during the year and closed that membership down. You will do things like that as well. And when we're making changes like that, it can feel very painful. At the time, it felt quite painful for me. I second guessed myself. I wondered, was I doing the wrong thing? I had amazing people in there that I loved. But when I look back now, 6 months later, I know it was the right thing for me. It opened up other areas that I was able to work on. It opened up space in my mind. It opened up space in my life that allowed me to take my next little pivot, which was really to start introducing energy work, a lot of energy work into my programs. Because I felt it was so needed. Because when there is a lot of chaos in the world, we can get completely confused, demotivated, we procrastinate, we're afraid to show ourselves. And that all relates to energy. If we feel depressed and low energy and unmotivated, it's very, very, very hard to turn up. It's very, very hard to put our best selves out there week after week, day after day. So that was the second little pivot I took in my business. So after shutting down the membership, I started working more on energy work. So I had done this for myself and found a massive difference in my own life and in my own level of energy and my own clarity and my own joy in my business and in my life. And I wanted to introduce that to my clients. So that was a major pivot. And one again that I second guessed. I was here, I'm not sure if my community is ready for this. Maybe I'm going off the beaten track here. Maybe it's not the right thing. But I stuck with my gut instinct, and it's just amazing. The results that I've seen with my clients has skyrocketed compared to what it was just focusing on strategy. Strategy alone will not cut it. It won't. Being in the kind of energy space where you can turn up with enthusiasm, with charisma, with joy every day in your business takes a lot of energy. And that requires work. It doesn't happen by itself. So that was a big pivot for me, but one that I was very happy that I took. So have you taken a pivot in your business this year? Have you changed something up that, is completely different compared to what you've done in the past? Pop a comment into the comments, #replay, and comment if you're watching this on replay. What have you changed up in your business? What did you second guess initially, but now know that it was the right move for you? I would love to hear that. So pop a little message into the comments if you're listening to this and you made a little pivot in your business. It could be that you've gone deeper into your niche. It could be that you've changed niche. It could be that you've decided to open a brick and mortars shop. It could be so many ways that we can pivot in our business. Sometimes it's closing down something that didn't work for us. Sometimes it's introducing something, new. So I'd love to know, pop in the comments if there is something this year that you have pivoted in your business. And my message to you this morning really is you have to be prepared to pivot at any time. It's not about a one-time pivot and doing the same thing forever, because some things will work in your business and some things won't. And we change. I have changed for sure. Definitely energy work was not a priority for me in the first couple of years of my business. It was all about reaching my financial goals. That has changed the longer that I'm in my business. And that will change for you too. Okay. Okay, so that was number 4. Number 5, I skipped number 5 for some reason. So we're on to number 6. I've no idea. So I've done 4, 6 here. The importance of self-care, especially in the years when there's a lot of chaos. And there's a lot of chaos around us right now, on the news, everywhere. And one of my key goals for this year, for 2023, was definitely around self-care. It was around, having more everyday pleasure, downtime. It was one of the reasons that I closed my membership. I had a bit more space in my life to be with my children, to not be rushing from one thing to the next, to make this massive change into the energy work that I'm doing, along with strategy now. So I had to really focus a lot on self-care this year. And again, I mean, it's nearly counterintuitive. I was terrified, if I took my foot off the accelerator in terms of just being working all the time, that my business would, start to fail. It was absolutely the opposite. The more downtime I take, the more energy I have to turn up for my community, for my clients, for myself. So I found that I've been taking more and more downtime. And I have really set up a business now that works for me. And when I'm working with my six-figure stylists, for sure, I help them to set up a business model that will work for them longer term. And a lot of personal stylists don't believe that, you can work on your business 20 hours a week and have, six-figure income. You totally can, but you have to set up a business model that allows that. If you don't have a business model that doesn't allow that, then it's never going to happen. And you nearly have to step into that before it actually happens. And that, again, is a pivot. It's a change. There's a fear around that. What if it all falls apart? But my experience is you have to actually become the person that you want to be before you're that person nearly. So it's like setting up a business model that a six-figure stylist would operate. So taking that self-care, and self-care can look a little bit different from everyone. For me, I take a lot of time away from media. Like, I don't really watch the news, honestly. I feel enough filters through to me on social media. I don't watch the news. I really don't watch the news. I'm really careful about what I read. I don't really read the newspaper. I read books that make me feel good. So I think what we consume is really, really, really important. Just be really careful and really notice what you're consuming. What are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you watching? Because I think they all have a massive effect on how we feel. Even yesterday on social media, one of the first things I do after I do my energy work in the morning is I go on social media to put my posts out for the day. And a friend of a friend died, and I saw it on social media, and it was just, oh my God, it was just devastating. I just felt that all morning. And social media does have a huge impact on us, and sometimes we're not aware of that. We're not aware that we're comparing ourselves every day to everyone else on social media. So we end up feeling crap about ourselves. We're not stylish enough. We're not glossy enough. We're not smart enough. We don't speak the right way. Oh my God, how did you come up with that post? I never come up with stuff like that. All of that is going on in our head all the time, and that depresses our energy. It depresses our energy to the point where it's really hard to show up enthusiastic, magnetic, as a source of inspiration for your clients. So self-care cannot emphasize how important that is, to create those rituals in your life. Now, for some people, it's harder than others. For me, I'm a ruler personality type on the Sacred Money archetype. So very driven, very, very work focused, and I was brought up in an environment where the work ethic was really, really important. So I had to actually set it as a goal last year, and work on taking downtime, because I actually love to work and I would work 24 hours a day, but then I get burnt out. So I actually had to set it as a goal for myself. So MMA is saying, instead of just being image, I have added other aspects of well-being that I am trained in. And although I am still not sure how that is going to be accepted, I am happier with my business and life and feel fully fulfilled rather than something is missing. Amazing, Emma. And I do feel that if we fall back on our instinct, if we just know this is actually right for me, if it's right for you, it's right for your business. Because when it feels right for us, we turn up differently. We turn up, lighter, we turn up more joyous, we turn up more magnetic. Of course we do. So when we're making these kind of changes in our business, it's normal to second guess yourself. It's normal to doubt yourself. It's normal to wonder, well, what's my message now? And how can I get that message out to my people? Am I confusing people? All of those things are normal to feel. They're absolutely normal to feel. But we do need to work with who we are as a person. We do need to work with our strengths and our gifts and what lights us up. So I think you've made an amazing choice, MMA, and it gets easier. When we make a pivot like this, it gets easier over time, because we have to step into that new identity. I work a lot with my six-figure stylist, because they have to step into the identity of being a six-figure stylist even before they are one. How would that six-figure stylist think? What would she do? How would her business be? So we have to step into that role before we're actually there already. Okay. And the last point that I have down here is, I have it as number 7, but it's really number 6, is to show up even when no one else does. Now, when there's a lot of chaos in the world, when there's a lot of change, when there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of people disappear. They disappear, they don't show up, they hide. Unfortunately, that is not inspirational for your community when you do that. Of course, there's times when we have to take care of ourselves. Of course, there's times when we're not feeling it. But generally speaking, you need to be consistent for your community, for your clients, for your visibility. You need to be consistent. That's one of the things that I work on all the time. So show up even when no one else shows up. So this really came home to me a couple of weeks ago when I ran my challenge, my 5 days, 5 new style clients challenge. There wasn't a huge amount of participation, I'll be honest. One day I turned up on one of my lives and there was one other person there. Now, I could have decided way through the week, this is total nonsense. No one's turning up. I'm putting myself out there. I'm doing all this work for people and no one's turning up. You can take that attitude, or you can say, there's one person watching. There's one person watching. I have the potential to change one person's life here. And that's how I'm going to show up. So I show up with all the enthusiasms as if there was 1,000 watching me. So we have to show up even when no one else does. Now, I have seen right throughout this year, people disappear for months off of social media. People disappear from their groups. People, stop sending their newsletters, and I think this really will impact your business. You won't get the steady stream of leads you need if you're not consistent. But that's the bottom line. The bottom line is that. And I think we need to show up for our potential clients, instead of disappearing off. And you need to find a way to do that. How can you do that that's congruent with who you are? It's not about doing something you don't want to do. Like, so for instance, reels are not me. I'm not going to be dancing around in reels. I've tried TikTok. I've tried the reels thing. I know in my heart, I will never turn up consistently like that. But I can turn up here every Friday and be really consistent and enjoy it because it feels good to me. It feels like something that I could continue indefinitely. So you have to find your thing, whatever your thing is, and you have to show up. No, even when nobody else is showing up, because there'll be lots of weeks here, especially when we're coming into the Christmas season now, where it seems like there's not that many people watching. That's what it appears like. But I know when I get clients, they tell me, I binge watched you for 6 months before I actually came and worked with you. Or, I always catch up with you with a gin and tonic on Friday night. So while there may not necessarily be eyes on you right in that moment, people will consume your content at a later date. So I think it's really, really important to be consistent. So those are my 6 learnings, not 7, 6 learnings during this year. Which was your favorite? So I talked about there's always going to be something outside of ourselves that we don't have control over. How are you going to show up around that? Relying on the pillars of stability. What are your pillars of stability? Set goals and plan, even if you haven't reached your goals in the past. Pivot when something is not working for you or you need something. The importance of self-care, and show up even when nobody else shows up. Which was your favorite? Pop it in the comments, please. Which was your favorite? Which one were you most surprised at? I mean, a lot of what I'm saying, you know already, but it's just a little reminder, or perhaps maybe to think about these points in a different way. Now, before I go, I want to let you know that I'm issuing an invitation to people to apply for my 6-Figure Stylist mentorship program at the moment. The next intake is happening in January. The 8th of January is my next intake. I have places for 4 people. It is by application only. Because it's very, very important for me that I get results with the clients that I work with. That is really, really important to me. So I have a vetting process. I make sure that whoever I bring in is ready to take the action that they need to take in their business. Now, I'm also putting the link for the application form in there. So go in there and apply if you want to, move into a very different place by June of next year. So it'll run from January to June, basically. It's 6 months. It's intense, but it changes people's lives. It usually changes their business model, and it takes them from struggling to having a business model that they can run for the rest of their life. It takes them to ease and grace. It gives them a very, very clear strategy, but also the tools around mindset and energy. So that's how my 6-Figure Stylist is different going forward. I have tested all of my tools with my current 6-Figure Stylist, and the results have been absolutely amazing. So I'm very, very excited for the next 4 people that I take. So 4 personal stylists will start with me on the 8th of January. And we'll go right through to June. So I'm really, really excited about that. This program is not for everyone. It really isn't, because it requires you to step up and step out. And it requires you to commit financially. It requires you to commit personally. When people commit at this level, there's no backing out. There's no not turning up. There's no, not showing up. You need to show up, and all my 6-Figure Stylists show up. They do their accountability forms every week. They turn up for the lives every week, the live Q&A every week. They do the steps on the program because they have committed at a high level. So if that is something that you want for next year, if you want to be a 6-Figure Stylist, if you want to have a business model that's going to support you indefinitely, have a business that's going to support you indefinitely, I have put that link in there in StreamYard. Let me see, did it go into the group? don't see it in the group here. Maybe I should paste it in here right now, so you guys get it. So that is the application form for the Six-Figure Stylist mentorship. The other thing that I want to talk about just before I go is the charity holiday event next week. So I will be talking about setting goals. It will be our opportunity to get our last get together before the end of the year. So if you want to wear your party top or your Christmas top, or if you want to bring a little tipple along with you, it's a little bit later. It's 5 o'clock in the evening, to give people around the world the opportunity to just have that final get together at the end of the year. I've also talked about my favorite charity in there, which is Operation Underground Railroad. This is a charity very close to my heart. I donate to it all the time, and I just wanted to bring some awareness to that charity as well. I understand that you all have your own charities as well. I understand that you want to donate in your own way, but I just wanted to bring some awareness to that in case anybody is looking for a charity, because I know it took me a while to find a charity that really resonated with me and that I really wanted to support. And this particular charity really supports children. It supports children who are trafficked around the world before they even get the opportunity to have a life. The minute I saw that documentary for the first time, it touched my heart, and I've supported it ever since. And I just want to bring that to your awareness. You decide what you want to do yourself. I'm not going to force you to do anything, obviously. And that's my life for this week. I hope there was something in there to encourage you to look back as you look forward toward the coming year. And so if you're watching this on replay, #replay. And also, if you can make it to the holiday party next week, it's at 5 p.m. CET. So whatever time that is in your part of the world. And I will look forward to seeing you then. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend ahead. And I will chat to you all again soon. Take care. Bye.